Thank you. Good evening, and I just want to say thanks to Evangelist Patrick Ansah for inviting me today on his Gospel Battle TV and radio. We're excited to be here to talk about a special book. I've written so many books, but to me, this is special. It's a fictional book called Once Upon a Time in Liberia. It's very entertaining. And I'm so excited to talk about this book and what it means to me and to Liberians who might pick a copy and read it, because they're going to laugh, they're going to laugh for themselves, and how we, do things in Liberia. I can't help it. Every time I pick it up, I just laugh. And I just want to introduce my guests today that are with me tonight. I got two guests that have read the book and they enjoy it so much. I invited them to come with me today on this radio program. So my first guest is Reverend Joyce Sinkala. Reverend Joyce Sinkala is from Malawi. He's a minister at Caring Believers Bible Fellowship. He's our director of stewardship. And then Deacon Moses Carter. He's also a chairperson of our bidding committee and a deacon at Caring Believers Bible Fellowship. Thank you all so much, gentlemen, for joining me tonight to talk about Once Upon a Time in Liberia. First, what we're going to do is, before we even begin this interview, I just want to let our audience and our listeners know, or if there's anybody out there who read this script and you're looking for a storyline, I just want to encourage you, pick up the phone and call me, 404-957-9354. This will make a great TV series, Once Upon a Time in Liberia. This book is really meant for all nationalities, although it's Once Upon a Time in Liberia, but there are lessons in there that can be learned by all nationalities. So I'm really glad tonight we're just here to talk about it briefly and let people who are out there listening to call me and get a copy. When you have a rough day and you come home and you're exhausted, you just want to laugh sometimes. And Once Upon a Time in Liberia will be a great entertaining book for you to read. So tonight we're going to go quickly into our discussion questions. Again, this book is purely fictional. It's based on my own imagination. So anything that, coincidence like names and places, although there are cities in there that are real in Liberia, like Sanikule, Gompa City, Ganta, or Monrovia. Other than that, names, group of names, they're purely fictional. They're based on my imagination. So any reference to anybody, to a living or dead person is purely coincidental. So let me assure you that when you read, I'm not talking about you, or I'm not talking about anybody. I'm not talking about anybody's relative or friend. So let me make that clear from the beginning. Tonight we're going to begin with some basic questions about Liberia, about reading, which is so important to me. I love to read. So we're going to go quickly into asking our panelists. I'll first ask Reverend Joyce Sinkala. He's not a Liberian, but he's been with Liberians for a very long time, because almost like 15 years at Caring Believers Bible Fellowship. So the first question I have on this discussion questionnaire is: Do you enjoy or like reading fictional books? Gentlemen, anybody can answer first. Remember, you gotta use your mic.
I'll start. My name is George Sinkala. I like reading fictional books. First, my introduction of reading fictional books was from high school. After that time, we had a lot of, in our library, a lot of fictional books, which gave me a lot of stories to read, which I liked and enjoyed reading. So all that time and the scenes from high school, all that time, when I have my spare time, I do read fictional books. And I was glad when I came across to your book, Once Upon a Time, Liberia. I enjoyed so much of the stories in there, which made me to be glad I had heard of it.
Can I follow up because there's another part of the question. Have you? I mean, can you name one fictional book you read over the past 90 days besides one, if you can remember?
In the past 90 days, I've not read any fictional books apart from this book, in the sense that I'm really busy with the aside doing studies,
Okay.
which has made me to be a little bit more busy to read and research on the things about the educational work which I'm doing. Apart from that, not in 90 days, haven't read any of those books.
Okay, Dean, what about you?
Yes, I enjoy reading fictional books. Started reading fictional books way back in elementary school in Nimba County, Liberia.
Okay.
My first book I picked up was Perry Mason,
Okay.
which I enjoyed very much. I followed the story until I collected the old one. And then in the past 90 days, any fictional book, the fiction I read is stories from the Daily Observer, which is talk about the war.
Okay.
People that fiction, but people that handle that they were in the war. Some of them I still read some last night.
Okay. All right. Just to add, Reverend Jason Kala is a doctoral student, candidate at the Oral Roberts University in Oklahoma, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. So I just want to let you know he's Tulsa, Oklahoma. All right. Okay. He's a doctoral candidate at Oral Roberts University at Tulsa, Oklahoma. And all right. And the second question is what is your general opinions about fictional stories? I mean, when you read fictional stories, how do you relate to fictional stories?
I'll start. Fictional stories, sometimes some people like writers like you who have written a lot of these books, you like fictional stories. At much of the time, some of those stories, they really talk to a person because of some experiences which you might have gone through. And with those experiences, it reminds you of those old times or some of those things you have gone through and you have made. And it makes you to sometimes laugh. It makes you sometimes think of those old days when you had such kind of experience.
Thank you, Pastor. Okay, Deacon.
I would say fictional stories, especially this one we have here, Once Upon a Time in Liberia. When I read it, I started reading the book, I can see the reality in it because some of the things you talk about in the book seems real. Like some of the names you mentioned, some of the places like Bang, some of the things that you did in school, I can relate to that. It seems real, but nevertheless, fiction. In that way, we'll take it as it is.
Okay. Well, I think they're telling us to gotta have a microphone by your mouth, as they're not hearing you. Okay. All right. The third question is for Pastor Sinkala. Let me find out from him. How well do you know about Liberia now?
That's a question for me to answer. I can say I'll answer it fictional.
Yeah.
In a sense that I know Liberia because of the people I meet. That is the only way I can say. The way I relate to the people I meet every day, week, every Sunday, every time we are there talking, I talk with people from Liberia. Through them and the stories they tell me, that is how well I know. Since I've been in the Liberian community in the U.S., and it has always been my desire, as well as my wife, Elizabeth, to say one day we are trying to see if we can visit the country itself.
Thank you, Pastor. All right.
I cannot tell you how well I know about Liberia. I'm from there.
Yeah.
So I know much of Liberia as well as you. Like where you wrote a book, most of the things seem real to me. I've gone through some of those experiences.
Thank you. All right. The next question is, Uh, being a Malawian, I want to ask you this question. Can you relate to some of the issues raised in the book? Students' behavior, football game, bad roads, judicial system, and the perception of Liberians about Liberia. I mean, can you relate? Can you relate to any of those issues?
Yes. When I was reading the book, there are many places which I was laughing, and because a lot of things which are in the book which you wrote, Pastor, even though it's a fictional, but it's telling so much of. It's like Africa. We are, even though we are from all kinds of places, but the lifestyle and some of the things which are happening is very, very similar to each one of us. You talked about there a girl who was who wanted to be into praying with the boys. In our time when we were playing soccer or football, we couldn't allow women to come close to the football, which guys or young boys are praying.
Yeah.
So when I read that, like that kind of story, it reminded me of those times. But you guys, you went far and to even allowing someone to join, but we couldn't allow anybody to come and be part of it.
Well, girls were usually on the periphery. They stood outside the goalpost and they sang all the songs for the boys to play. But we didn't allow them to come and join. They had kickball games, but they didn't really play soccer with me.
Yeah.
Deacon, what about you?
On the matter of girls, when we were going to school, girls were not allowed to play anywhere. They stand on the sideline and sing and encourage us to play.
Exactly.
But nowadays, you got girls football team, even in America, you got girls football team
yes.
worldwide.
Mm.
But some of the things you talk about here about students' behavior, barrows, judicial system, and protection of Liberians about Liberia. When you ask Liberians about Liberia, there are so many questions, and some of them, so many answers. Some of them have been here for so long. I just read a friend of mine who I know personally. He said, as he lays right now, you're not going to ever go to Liberia. You're going to stay here forever because he doesn't like the way the government is working here, what the government is doing. But as for me, I was born a Liberian. I'm going to remain a Liberian. I can go to Liberia anytime I want to. On the roads in Liberia, these are some of the things that I don't know what happened in Malawi. But in Liberia, the road system is terrible. Right now, my brothers went they left Monrovia to go to Tabata. They couldn't go by car as far as Uganda. From there to Tabata, they got to ride on motorbike. Which is rainy season now in Liberia. You cannot go anywhere in car in the country.
Yeah, if I can just comment on that part.
Sure.
In Malawi, if we are talking of roads, and the rural, I grew up from the rural area of Malawi, very, very remote place. Our times of school, we used to walk about 100 kilometers.
Okay, how many is that in miles? I don't know.
In
Yeah.
in miles, maybe, can we say close?
2.5 kilometers to a mile, right?
I think so. So it's about almost like between 50 and 60
miles. Yeah.
So we used to walk with our lugs, our bags, or luggages.
On your head.
Walk all. Why? Because in our country, because we are from the rural, there was no transportation. No reliable. The only car which you come there is maybe a government a car which is coming for teachers or a hospital car. Sometimes, most of the time, the hospital, like an ambulance comes there, is picking up sick people. You find the drivers are getting, even the dead people, they'll carry someone as well as a means of transportation. So they'll also get some money out of it. So it's really very similar, and as well the roads in the rainy season is terribly bad, and you cannot, if it's not a 4x4, you cannot drive.
The same thing with me or with us. We live in a rural area. For us to go to school, we used to walk miles and miles to go to school. In the morning, you get in the morning by 5, 6 o'clock and walk until you get to school by 8 o'clock. And they'll do the same thing to go back home when school is over.
Exactly.
So the rural area, the road system in our country is terrible.
Well, let me remind our listeners and our audience again that we talking about this book. Let me show it to you on the screen. Once Upon a Time in Liberia. It's an entertaining book. It's fictional, even though we are talking some issues that are real in our countries, like barrows and sometimes judicial systems and stuff like that. But this book is fictional. It's just meant to teach lesson to all readers, all nationalities. So if you're out there and you're somebody who's writing a script for a TV series or interested in producing a movie and you're looking for a storyline, I will ask you to call me, Pastor Nelson at 404-957-9354. This will make a great TV series. This book is very entertaining. Every time when I pick it up, when I'm thinking about home, when I'm thinking about some issue, I just pick it up and just read one chapter, and just laugh at myself. All right, we're back to our discussion question. This one may not go through for our minister from Malawi. Most of all Liberians believe that the nation was founded on Christian principle. But when I was writing this fiction, I said Liberians believe on the Christian principle of who knows you. I don't know if that is a problem in Malawi, even though it's fictional. But in some sense, we believe you got to know somebody. You got to know somebody somewhere to have things move your way sometimes.
Pastor, that's very true. As well as in Malawi, most we were ruled by or colonized by the British. So a lot of things were the effects of the British system continued even after our independence. So as well, when I was reading about the book, when you were talking about that, I found some similarities, even though in a judicial system it was a little different. But when we were talking of some of the other things, it's almost the same.
Okay. Okay.
As Liberian, in Liberia they say, who knows who?
Okay.
You don't know anybody in the government system. Your work cannot go through as you want it to be. Like before, you want to get something done quickly. Want you to see. Sometimes you go, they can't see me at 20 o'clock. That means give me $20. I do the work for you.
Amen.
If you some kind of figure. In the olden days, before when you go for a scholarship, the scholarship director will tell you, can't see me like this. With horn. That means bring a goat. Okay. Before I gave you that.
Okay. All right.
Although Liberia is founded on Christian principles, but in a way, they do their own things.
Just an addition on that, Pastor. In our country, the first president we had was a dictator. It was Dr. Hastings Kamuzu Banda.
Yeah.
He was a dictator, and that's why during his time of reign, corruption was there, but it wasn't as bad as it is today. Because if he finds that you did something which was wrong, you were gone. So at his time, corruption was there, but it wasn't as bad. But this time, I've been there. I've traveled there several times, but it's like a different country altogether.
Wow.
So exactly what you are saying. If you don't know somebody in anywhere, nothing's going to move for you.
Okay. And then the next question is, what do you think about vigilante justice? I wrote about it in the book in the 60s and the 70s when I was growing up. When somebody stole anything, all you needed to hear was raw, and everybody would be out there chasing that individual. And when they caught the individual, anything that was at their disposal, they touch him with it. Like I said, anything at your disposal, you touch the man until the police arrive. You touch him repeatedly. You touch him repeatedly. I don't want to say you beat him up, but you touch him. Yeah, you touch him repeatedly. So I mentioned that. So when I was in Liberia a while ago, in January and February, I was told people don't do vigilante justice in Liberia anymore. UN is watching everyone, so that when anybody steals, Yeah, anybody steals. We're talking about fiction now. We're talking about fiction. Yeah. Anybody steals, make sure you don't touch that individual until the police arrives. So, what do you think? What about that? That's the thing. What about? Do you have any problem with vigilante justice in Malawi?
Vigilante justice in Malawi has been there for a long time since I know, long as I know. As I mentioned, I grew up in a village. My father used to have a small grocery store. And in there, we had a lot of second-hand clothes, which were sent from here. So they were buying and reselling those. So several times we had like a Saturday was which in the book you call it some they call it market day. Right?
Yeah, market day.
Exactly. So we had that Saturday. People from all over Tanzania, because we are bordering these countries. To cross within each other, it was just a very short distance from one country to the other. So people from all over could come to our city, our town, and be looking for those clothes. So out of those, you find some who will be thieves and they'll steal.
Okay.
So I remember one time somebody made a mistake and stole one thing and was caught. From our town to the nearest police station, we are talking about maybe 20 miles.
Whoa.
So on all that way from our store to the
police station,
everybody, anyone, whether he knows that person knows you or not, he will be beating that person all the way.
They touch him.
As you say, they'll touch him all the way up to that. So that, but now what is alarming to me is that I was thinking by this time we have matured enough, or you have come to our senses enough to see people have stopped doing that. But it has become worse.
Oh, wow.
In a sense that now you are living in town, the capital city of Lilongwe. The moment they say he's a thief, they catch you, they are going to burn you alive. I've not seen, but I've had so many stories of people mentioning of people have been alive because of I've just said, oh, he has stolen something, or he has been caught doing whatever, something bad. So it's happening as well. So when I read from the book, it reminded me of all those kinds of stuff, which made me to laugh.
All right, Deacon.
Although it is on a book, on a law book, there is no vigilante justice in Liberia. But mind you, you go steal something from somebody and they catch you, the best bet is to run to go to the police station, because they will beat you all the way.
They will touch you.
They will really touch you. They will almost burn you alive.
Exactly.
They still do it in Liberia. In the when we were growing up in our country, when you steal or when you do something bad, they will say, this person is going across the river to another country. That means they have gotten rid of you.
Wow.
They do not believe in stealing.
Wow.
All right, again to our audience and to those of you who are listening are here. Out there, we're on tonight with evangelist Patrick Ansah, Gospel Battle Radio and TV live, and we're inviting all of you to listen and get a copy of this book and just enjoy and just laugh as a Liberian or any nationality for that matter, and just laugh. Just reading it is a great book, and I just encourage you, call me today or tomorrow, 404-957-9354, and get a copy and just laugh. Like I said, if you really want to go to election in Liberia and you want something to laugh about, you need to get a copy of this book and just laugh your way out. Okay, thank you so much. Again, we got about 3 more questions on this discussion. The other question is to my panelists is: did you enjoy reading this book, and will you recommend it to any nationality for that matter?
I would recommend it. I enjoyed completely this book. About if either you have some time, or maybe you are lonely, or you are in some places you want to just have time of enjoyment reading a book, I would recommend this book to be one of it. It will be mostly for those who have ever lived or been in Africa, of that life in Africa. I would recommend you to get hold of. It doesn't matter whether you are coming from Malawi or Liberia or any other country. It's a book. When you get it and you start reading, it reminds you of a lot of things which even in your life you have gone through. So it's a nice. I would recommend to everybody.
It's a nice book. Well, I must admit, I have not finished reading it. What I'm doing,
Okay,
I'm jumping from chapter to chapter. I'm reading back and forth, because I want to see what interests me, what I read first. So
Okay.
I would recommend it to anybody who wants to read it. In fact, some Liberians have asked me, what is this book Pastor Nelson is talking about? Once upon a time in Liberia. I said, you get a copy,
Yeah.
and when you read it, you will know what we are talking about.
Amen. Yeah.
I highly recommend it to anybody who wants to read it.
Thank you, Deacon. Thank you, Deacon. Again, if you're listening to us live this evening, we are at Evangelist Patrick Hansen Studio, Gospel Battle TV and Radio. And we're talking about Once Upon a Time in Liberia. It's a book that I just released this year, about a month ago. Once Upon a Time in Liberia is fictional. And some of the cities are real in Liberia. Some of the names, you can relate to them, but it's fictional. So let me let you know that any reference to a live individual or somebody who has died or your relative or friend or you is purely coincidental. It's not talking about you. You may read and find something similar that you can relate to, almost like, oh, he's talking to me. No, it's not you. It's purely fictional. It's just based on my imagination. It's entertaining to make you just laugh at yourself as an international missionary who has been to Liberia or been to Africa. You already relate to this book. A Peace Corps volunteer who has been to Liberia, you also relate to this book. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. And the second to the last question, do you think there are lessons in this book for everyone to learn or relate to? And I say, give an example or anything you can remember to give an example as a lesson. You will ask somebody, say, yeah, that's something I can relate to.
Sure. One of it is the way you handled about the young lady who wanted to be a professional. Most of us, we stereotype everything.
Okay.
So because of that, many of the things or talents which our children or any other person may have, we put it down just because of maybe sex, because of not of our kind or whatever. Because of that, I saw that it's something which we need to change. So therefore, that is one of the lessons which I was thinking we can make sure we do better.
Okay. Yeah, after him, we're taking.
All right. Now, the second part is I like the way you explained about the judicial system in Liberia as well as from the book. In Malawi, because of the colonial system which we were in, we don't use the jury system.
Okay.
So because of that, I think most of the cases on the law which is taken, the judges make, it's like almost like a one-man opinion.
Okay.
So, which is for me, I say if some of those things can be different as well in our country, that is one of the lessons I would take to say we need to make some changes there. We are talking of. Most of the places you talked of local political leaders and as well as all those things I've seen. That's exactly what is happening in our place. So there are some things which we can learn from one another from out of this fictional book. We can as well apply it in our day-to-day life. So that's one of the things which I would say. There are a lot of educational lessons which we can get from the book.
Thank you, Pastor. So we're taking a break, right? evangelist Patrick Answer, gospel, body radio and TV. We are live, and we are talking about Once Upon a Time Liberia. It's a new book that I just wrote. It's a fictional story, but it's a great storyline. If you're looking for something to even do a play in a school or whatever program you're having, you want to do a play, there's something in here for you. I'm just encouraging you to get a copy. You can call me 404-957-9354 and just get a copy and just laugh your hearts out as a Liberian or internationally for that matter. And tonight I have with me Reverend Jason Kala. He's the director of Stewardship at Caring Believers Bible Fellowship. He and his wife Liz have been with us for a very long time, over 15 years, and they got into love Liberian, and they got into love Liberians. And with me here on my left is Deacon Moses Carter, who's also a deacon of Caring Believers Bible Fellowship. And I want to say thanks to you gentlemen for coming tonight with me on this radio station, on this broadcast. We were talking about lessons in the book that you learn, and you give an example as the judicial systems in Malawi being different. The question I have for you, I said something in the book about how relatives and friends bring porcupine meat, they bring monkey meat, live goat, chicken, and guinea fowl to judges and lawyers. So say you don't have jurors over there, you wouldn't have a judge. Do people bribe the judge, bringing stuff like that to them in the night or to the judge in the night?
Yes, Pastor. A lot of that happened in our local court, which is a very local. My uncle had a child from another woman out of wedlock. So now he was trying to see if he can get that child to be staying with him. So the woman couldn't let him have the child. So what he did had to go to the court so that the court can decide that. So I remember this night I was in their place. I had visited them. So he had a very nice cabinet, like where you put plates and all that. Yeah. So he took that cabinet all night. We had to put it on the bicycle, take it all the way from
cabinet to bicycle.
Exactly. We are talking about it's between 7 to 10 miles. So we had to carry that on that thing, take it all the way to the judge's house.
To the judge at night.
So at night, so that nobody else will see. So that was his bribe for him to get a favor of the judge.
Okay.
So you see those things happening many times and many places all over the country, and it is really seriously. It is really bad.
In real Liberia, you won't be surprised to during the court hearing or court proceeding. You won't be surprised to see a goat tie in the courtyard that somebody has brought for the lawyer or for the judge. So, okay, Diggy, what about you?
Yes, it do happen in Liberia. When I went home in 2011, my driver was driving for somebody else, the taxi driver using. He asked me whether I know this gentleman. I said yes. He went there wanted to be the Minister of Education. He said he went through a lot of hardship. In the night, they were carrying him around to all the representatives and senators. Brown envelope were passing along. He had to bribe the people to confirm him. Yeah. So it do happen in Liberia. Yes. It happens today, to this date.
Yeah. Again, this is fictional. So the fictional. What we are talking about here, even though we're related to real issues in Liberia or in Malawi or any part of the world in Africa, but this is fictional. So let me let you know that we're talking about it because we enjoy it. All of us can relate to it, and there are lessons in fictional books. Right now, I'm reading a fictional book called A Bride for Noah, and it's Christian fiction. It's really good. The setting of the story is in the 1800s in the United States when the settlers first arrived from England. So again, you were, if you're Liberian, no matter, even if you are non-Liberian, you relate to this book, Once Upon a Time in Liberia, because it's really funny. there's a story in there about a woman who died and came back to life, and all the men in town tried to rescue when she called for help, when she went away from the town. Everybody had to scatter because they thought she was a ghost. So, I mean, that's something when you read, that's something that really make you laugh. And the funny thing is, when everybody was running, she tried to grab hold of a shirt with one of the men, and the man ran and left his shirt. And this man did not come back for his shirt. He didn't want anybody to know that he ran away. I'm sorry. He did not want to know that he was the most scary man in the town, because for leaving his shirt with a woman in the middle of the night to run, who are going to rescue someone. So it's really, really funny. It will make you laugh. The last question is, would you encourage him to write a sequel? Or and if yes, what specific suggestion do you have for me that I can take with me and say the next time I'm writing again, Once Upon a Time in Liberia, or with a different title? I've already begun to write a different one, but what suggestion would you have for me if you want me to write a second one?
If I would make any recommendation, I would say, Pastor, that what you have done is a marvelous work, a great work, really. I would ask if you could not only very much target the Liberian community,
okay,
but if maybe, for example, Africa as a whole,
African community as a whole,
yeah, African as a community, so that maybe, because sometimes when somebody say, oh, once upon Liberia, say, oh, this is a Liberian thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can give maybe a title which can be a title for which will be broad to covering a lot of other ethnic, because the stories which are in the book right now, Once Upon Liberia, is not only the stories which of the Liberians face, but it's stories which all African people who have been in such kind of situation have gone through. So if maybe you can target the larger audience, that could be the only suggestion which I could make towards the next writing.
Thank you. Deacon?
Yes, I would say the same thing. Even if you could title it Once Upon a Time in Africa,
okay, you
will bring some soldiers from different countries in Africa. We all go through the same thing.
That's true.
And then, just because of your writing background is on gospel, on biblical, being a pastor,
okay,
I see in the book you mention a lot of oh my God, in almost every chapter.
Oh Lord, my God,
everything. So just because of your background as a pastor.
Well, the thing is, I'm not really taking the name of God in vain or God's name in vain, but it's a way to expressing excitement. Oh my God, like if something happened, you were not really expecting it. So it's
almost in every chapter. I know.
It's sometimes I say, oh Lord, depending on, like, okay, the weather, rainy season, and there's a football game, and it's all of a sudden it's sunny, and you there's no rain, and everybody want to come and see, like, oh my God, I can't believe this is
the next thing there's rain.
So thank you all so much tonight for coming and being my guest here. Reverend Joyce Sinkala, a doctoral student at Oral Roberts University in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and our Deacon, Committee Chairperson, Deacon Moses Carter. I just want to say thanks to all of you for listening. It was a pleasure, and thanks a million to Evangelist Patrick Ansah for inviting me and my guest on Gospel Valley Radio and TV. We really appreciate your program. We really appreciate your ministry, and we pray that God will really open more doors to those who are interested in coming here and spreading the good news or whatever they've done, so that somebody can be able to hear. And the fact that you open your door to everyone is really commendable. I just pray that God will bless you bountifully. Let me tell my audience also that I've written several books beside this right here. several books. You can go to Amazon.com or Outskirts.com and get some of my books. I've written books on the Liberian Civil War, devotional, encouraging, counseling books. So you can find me. Just Google my name and you will find some of my books. And even YouTube has some more music too. So thank you so much tonight for listening. As we're about to leave, I will ask my panelists or my guests to just make final statement before we close. Reverend Sinkala?
Thank you so much, Pastor, for inviting me to be part and parcel of this broadcast. I want to encourage every listener who's out there listening to us that this is one of the books I would say, please buy it and you enjoy it. I've enjoyed reading it, even though I'm not a Liberian, but still more, I've enjoyed the stories which are in the book. So once more, thank you so much, Pastor.
Thank you. Thank you.
Pastor Nelson, thank you for inviting us to be your guest on discussing Once Upon a Time in Liberia. Next time you really make it Once Upon a Time in Africa, and we all will enjoy it and laugh about it. Thank you.
Finally, a reader told me, well, why you got so many English names and in Liberia we say Queen. Why you got so many Queen names in the book? And I told the individual, well, Liberians, until lately, many people didn't really carry their indigenous name or their tribal names. They only told English. When you went to school, you were born with a specific African or Liberian name. And then when you went to school, because it was difficult for the teacher to spell your name or pronounce your name, they give you an English name. That, for instance, my name is Mango. When I was born, I was called Mango. But when I went to school, the teacher said, your name is Peter. And I said, okay, I'll take the Peter. So you can see that. So names are just, how you look at them. They're not really specific. Again, I will encourage each one of you out there listening. One of the things I've observed as a Liberian is that many of us don't like to read. We rather listen to some, because I don't know, because from the background we come from. When I went home, my 11-year-old granddaughter, she's in the second grade. She does not read. She does not know how to read because they don't have any reading material. So this book. I hope that one day it will be used in Liberian class literature, so that students can read and laugh and just share fun with each other about Once Upon a Time in Liberia. Again, I want to say thanks so much to Evangelist Patrick Ansah for inviting me today. Thank you. God bless you.